The future of luxury has arrived, and it doesn't come from where most people expected. It doesn't wear a decades-old badge. It doesn't rely on heritage alone. Instead, it explodes onto the scene with raw innovation, unapologetic confidence, and a level of performance that feels almost unreal. This is the all-new 2026 ZEEKR 9X, a machine that isn't just redefining what a luxury SUV should be, it's rewriting the rules entirely. At first glance, the presence is overwhelming. Massive, commanding, dominant. The proportions alone tell a story of power and prestige. This is not a vehicle that blends in, it demands attention. The front fascia is bold and futuristic, with a wide, imposing grille that feels sculpted rather than assembled. Sharp LED matrix headlights cut through the air like precision instruments, glowing with an intensity that gives the car a living, breathing personality. Every surface reflects purpose. The deep metallic paint flows like liquid under light, shifting tones subtly as the environment changes. Chrome accents are placed with surgical precision, never excessive, always enhancing the overall visual drama. The stance is wide and planted, giving the SUV a sense of unstoppable stability, as if it's anchored to the road even when standing still. Move along the side profile, and the design becomes even more captivating. Clean lines stretch across the body, uninterrupted and elegant, emphasizing length and luxury. The wheel arches are muscular but refined, housing massive wheels that complete the vehicle's powerful silhouette. Flush door handles, seamless glass integration, and aerodynamic shaping all contribute to a design that feels both futuristic and timeless. At the rear, the ZEEKR 9X delivers a signature moment. A full-width LED light bar glows like a horizon line, stretching across the tailgate with stunning clarity. The lighting animation feels alive, adding a sense of motion even when the car is stationary. The rear design is clean yet authoritative, with subtle detailing that reinforces its premium identity without shouting for attention. But this SUV isn't just about how it looks. The real magic begins the moment you step inside. The cabin is not just an interior, it's an experience. A sanctuary, a private lounge designed to disconnect you from the chaos of the outside world. As the doors close, a sense of calm takes over. The materials immediately speak of luxury at the highest level. Soft touch leather wraps every surface, stitched with precision. Metallic accents add contrast, while ambient lighting flows through the cabin like a soft, glowing wave. The layout is designed for comfort and control. A massive OLED display dominates the dashboard, seamlessly integrated into the architecture. It's not just a screen, it's a command center. Crisp visuals, lightning-fast responsiveness, and an interface that feels intuitive and futuristic at the same time. The seating configuration transforms the entire experience. This is a true six-seater luxury environment, with a 2+2+2 layout that prioritizes space and comfort for every passenger. The second row is where things become extraordinary. Executive seats that recline, massage, and adjust into zero-gravity positions create an atmosphere that feels closer to first-class air travel than a traditional SUV. Every detail is engineered for comfort. The softness of the cushions, the angle of the backrests, the placement of armrests, everything works together to eliminate fatigue and enhance relaxation. Long journeys no longer feel long. They feel effortless. Above, a panoramic sunroof floods the cabin with natural light, creating an open, airy atmosphere. At night, the ambient lighting takes over, transforming the interior into a calm, futuristic lounge. The sound system surrounds you with crystal-clear audio, turning every drive into a private concert. And then there's the technology. Hidden beneath the luxury is a powerhouse of innovation. The ZEEKR 9X is built on a next-generation platform, integrating advanced computing systems that manage everything from driving dynamics to entertainment. Intelligent driving assistance features work quietly in the background, enhancing safety and convenience without ever feeling intrusive. But the true heart of this machine lies beneath the surface, in its revolutionary powertrain. This is not just a hybrid. This is an extended-range electric revolution. The system combines a high-performance turbocharged engine with multiple electric motors, creating a symphony of power that is both brutal and refined. The numbers alone are enough to shock. Up to 1400 horsepower in its most extreme form. Acceleration that pushes you back into your seat with relentless force. 0 to 100 km per hour in just over 3 seconds, a figure that belongs to supercars, not full-size luxury SUVs. Yet, despite this incredible performance, the ZEEKR 9X maintains a sense of control and composure that is almost surreal. The power delivery is smooth, instantaneous, and perfectly balanced. Whether you're cruising through the city or accelerating on an open highway, the response is immediate and precise. The advanced all-wheel drive system ensures maximum traction in every condition. Torque is distributed intelligently, adapting in real time to the road and driving style. The result is a driving experience that feels both exhilarating and secure. And then comes the range, the number that changes everything. Up to 1,200 kilometers on a single combined cycle. This is where the ZEEKR 9X truly separates itself from the competition. The anxiety of long-distance travel disappears. Charging stops become optional rather than necessary. You can drive for hours, even days, without worrying about where the next charge will come from. The electric-only range is equally impressive, allowing for silent, emission-free driving in urban environments. The transition between electric and hybrid modes is seamless, almost invisible. The system works in harmony, optimizing efficiency without sacrificing performance. Charging technology pushes the boundaries even further. Ultra-fast charging capabilities mean you can regain significant range in minutes, not hours. This is not just convenience, it's a complete transformation of how we think about electric mobility. Driving the ZEEKR 9X is an experience unlike any other. The suspension system adapts constantly, reading the road and adjusting in real time. Air suspension smooths out imperfections, creating a ride that feels almost disconnected from the surface below. Whether on rough terrain or perfectly paved highways, the comfort remains consistent. At higher speeds, the vehicle lowers slightly, improving aerodynamics and stability. In tighter conditions, the steering remains precise and responsive, making this large SUV feel surprisingly agile. It's a balance that few vehicles achieve: size and agility, power and refinement, performance and comfort. The exterior design, the interior luxury, the performance, the technology, all of it comes together to create something truly special. But what makes the ZEEKR 9X revolutionary is not just what it offers individually. It's how everything works together as a complete package. This is a vehicle that challenges expectations. It questions the traditional hierarchy of luxury. It proves that innovation can come from anywhere, and that the future belongs to those willing to push boundaries. For decades, the luxury SUV segment has been dominated by a handful of names. Brands, built on heritage, reputation, and exclusivity. But the ZEEKR 9X enters the scene with a different approach. It doesn't rely on history, it creates its own identity through technology, design, and performance. And perhaps the most shocking part of all is the price. Starting at around $65,000, the value proposition becomes almost unbelievable. Features and performance that would traditionally cost 2 or 3 times as much are now accessible in a single package. It forces a new conversation. It forces a new comparison. Because suddenly, the question is no longer what this SUV competes with. The question is, how do others compete with it? This is more than just a car. It's a statement, a signal that the industry is changing, faster than anyone expected. That innovation is accelerating, that the future is arriving sooner than we imagined. The 2026 ZEEKR 9X is not perfect. No machine ever is. Its size can feel overwhelming in tight urban environments. Availability may be limited in certain regions. In real-world, performance will always vary depending on conditions and usage. But these are small considerations in the face of what this vehicle represents. A bold vision, a new direction, a glimpse into what the next generation of luxury mobility looks like. This is not evolution, this is disruption, and as the automotive world watches closely, one thing becomes clear. The game has changed, and just when it feels like the story has reached its peak, the ZEEKR 9X reveals something even deeper, something that goes beyond numbers, beyond design, beyond luxury itself. Because true innovation isn't just about what you see, it's about what you feel. The moment this machine begins to move, everything changes. The silence is the first surprise. A near-total absence of noise as the electric motors take control, gliding forward with an almost unreal smoothness. There's no vibration, no hesitation, just a seamless surge of motion that feels more like floating than driving. This is where the philosophy behind the ZEEKR 9X becomes clear. It's not trying to imitate traditional luxury. It's creating a new definition entirely, one where power and calm coexist, where speed doesn't sacrifice comfort, and where technology works invisibly to elevate every second of the experience. As the road opens up, the character of the SUV shifts instantly. The electric silence gives way to an explosive wave of acceleration as the full hybrid system unleashes its potential. The transition is so refined, so perfectly calibrated, that it feels like a single, continuous force pushing forward without limits. There's a moment, just a fraction of a second, where everything compresses. The horizon rushes closer, the world blurs slightly at the edges, and the sheer force of acceleration reminds you that this is not just a luxury SUV. This is something far more powerful. Yet, even in these moments of intensity, control is never lost. The intelligent chassis system works constantly beneath the surface, adjusting suspension stiffness, redistributing torque, and maintaining balance with surgical precision. Every corner feels calculated, every movement feels intentional. The weight of the vehicle seems to disappear, replaced by a sense of agility that defies expectations. It's this duality that defines the ZEEKR 9X. Calm when you want it, explosive when you need it, and then, there's the way it adapts to you. Modern driving is no longer just about the machine, it's about the relationship between driver and technology. The ZEEKR 9X understands this. It learns patterns, preferences, behaviors. It anticipates needs before they're even expressed. The cabin becomes an intelligent space. Climate adjusts automatically, seat positions refine themselves, lighting shifts depending on mood and time of day. Even the sound environment evolves, creating an atmosphere that feels personalized and alive. This level of integration transforms the driving experience into something more intuitive, more human. Long journeys take on a completely different meaning. Hours pass without fatigue. The seats support the body perfectly, reducing pressure points and encouraging relaxation. The suspension absorbs imperfections so effectively that rough roads feel almost smooth. There's a sense of isolation, but not in a negative way. It's a controlled, curated environment, where the outside world exists at a distance while the interior remains calm and composed. Passengers experience this transformation even more deeply. The second row becomes a sanctuary within a sanctuary. Reclining seats, extended legroom, and a sense of privacy create an environment that rivals executive lounges. Whether working, resting, or simply enjoying the ride, the experience feels elevated, almost indulgent. Even the smallest details contribute to this feeling. The texture of materials, the precision of stitching, the responsiveness of controls, everything is designed to eliminate friction and enhance comfort. And then, as night falls, the entire atmosphere shifts once again. Ambient lighting takes center stage, flowing through the cabin in soft, customizable tones. The dashboard glows subtly, highlighting key elements without overwhelming the senses. Outside, the LED lighting signature transforms the vehicle into a moving piece of art, visible from a distance and instantly recognizable. It's not just transportation anymore. It's presence. But beyond the comfort and the performance, there's a deeper layer to this machine, a layer that speaks to the future. The ZEEKR 9X represents a transition point in the automotive world. A moment where traditional boundaries begin to dissolve, where electric mobility, hybrid innovation, and intelligent systems converge into a single, unified experience. It challenges long-standing assumptions. That luxury must come with compromise. That performance must sacrifice efficiency. That innovation must be expensive. Here, those ideas no longer apply. Instead, a new balance emerges. One where efficiency and power coexist. Where sustainability doesn't feel restrictive, but empowering. Where advanced technology doesn't complicate the experience, but simplifies it. Even the concept of ownership begins to evolve. With over-the-air updates, the vehicle continues to improve over time. New features, refinements, optimizations, all delivered seamlessly, without the need for physical upgrades. The ZEEKR 9X is not a static product. It's a dynamic platform, constantly evolving. This means that the experience you have today is not the same experience you'll have tomorrow. It gets better, smarter, more refined, and this continuous evolution creates something rare in the automotive world: longevity through innovation. As the journey continues, one realization becomes impossible to ignore. This vehicle isn't just competing in the luxury segment. It's redefining it. The expectations it sets are higher. The standards it introduces are more demanding. And the gap between what it offers and what many competitors provide becomes increasingly difficult to overlook. Because once you experience this level of integration, this level of harmony between design, performance, and technology, everything else begins to feel outdated. And that is the true impact of the ZEEKR 9X. It doesn't just impress, it shifts perspective. It forces a re-evaluation of what matters, of what's possible, of what the future should look like. As the final miles pass beneath its wheels, the experience leaves a lasting impression. Not just because of the speed, or the luxury, or the innovation, but because of how effortlessly it brings all of those elements together. There's no struggle, no compromise, no sense of limitation, only flow, only precision, only a quiet, confident understanding that this is what comes next. And as the automotive world stands on the edge of transformation, one thing becomes certain. The future is no longer approaching. It's already here, and it's moving faster than anyone ever imagined. And yet, even after everything, the power, the silence, the luxury, the innovation, there's still one final layer to uncover. Because what truly makes the 2026 ZEEKR 9X unforgettable isn't just what it does, it's what it represents. This is not just a product of engineering. It's a symbol of a shift, a moment in time where the balance of the automotive world begins to tilt in a new direction. For years, the definition of luxury was controlled by legacy. Names that carried decades of prestige. Vehicles that relied on heritage to justify their place at the top. And for a long time, that formula worked. But the ZEEKR 9X doesn't follow that formula. It breaks it, completely. Because instead of looking backward for inspiration, it looks forward, aggressively, unapologetically, and without hesitation. Every line, every feature, every piece of technology is designed not to match the competition, but to outpace it. And that's exactly what it does. The moment you understand this, everything about the vehicle starts to make sense. The bold design isn't just for attention, it's a declaration. The extreme performance isn't just for thrill, it's a statement. The advanced technology isn't just for convenience, it's a glimpse into what driving will become. Even the way it handles everyday life feels different. In the city, it moves with elegance and control. Despite its size, it never feels out of place. Cameras and sensors create a 360-degree awareness that transforms tight spaces into manageable ones. Parking becomes easier. Navigation becomes smarter. Traffic becomes less stressful. There's a quiet intelligence at work, constantly calculating, constantly adapting. On open roads, the experience transforms once again. The SUV stretches its legs, revealing the full extent of its capability. Long-distance travel becomes something to look forward to, not something to endure. There's a rhythm to the way it moves. A flow that feels almost organic. Acceleration, cruising, deceleration, all blending together into a seamless cycle that never feels forced. And through it all, there's confidence. Not just in performance, but in reliability, in capability, in purpose. This is where the deeper emotional connection begins to form. Because at some point, it stops being about features and specifications. It stops being about horsepower or range or screens. It becomes about how it makes you feel. And the feeling is unmistakable. Control, comfort, power, freedom. Freedom from limitations. Freedom from constant charging concerns. Freedom from compromise. The ability to go further, faster, and more comfortably than ever before. This is the true essence of the ZEEKR 9X. A machine designed not just to meet expectations, but to eliminate them entirely. And then, there's the question that lingers in the background, the one that inevitably comes up as soon as you begin to understand what this SUV offers. What happens next? Because when a vehicle like this enters the market, it doesn't exist in isolation. It creates pressure. It forces change. It raises the standard for everyone. Other manufacturers will respond. They'll innovate. They'll adapt. They'll try to close the gap. But for now, the ZEEKR 9X holds a unique position. It's ahead, not by a small margin, but by a noticeable, undeniable distance. And that lead is not just technical, it's philosophical. It represents a different way of thinking about cars. A different approach to luxury. A different vision of the future. One where technology is not an add-on, but the foundation. Where performance is not limited by tradition, but enhanced by innovation. Where luxury is not defined by price, but by experience. And perhaps the most powerful part of all of this is accessibility. Because for everything this vehicle offers, the performance, the design, the technology, the comfort, the price remains shockingly within reach compared to traditional ultra-luxury standards. This changes everything. It opens the door for a new kind of buyer. A new generation of drivers who demand more, expect more, and are no longer willing to accept outdated compromises. And as that shift happens, the entire industry begins to evolve. Slowly at first, then all at once. This is how revolutions begin. Not with noise, but with disruption. Not with gradual change, but with bold, undeniable impact. The ZEEKR 9X is that impact. It's the kind of vehicle that people will look back on years from now and recognize as a turning point. The moment when expectations changed. The moment when the future stopped being theoretical and became real. And as the final thought settles in, one realization stands above all others. This isn't just about one SUV. It's about what comes after. Because once a new standard is set, there's no going back. Only forward, faster, smarter, more refined. And as the road ahead continues to unfold, one thing is certain. The era of next-generation luxury has officially begun. And leading that charge is the 2026 ZEEKR 9X. And now, as everything comes full circle, the story of the 2026 ZEEKR 9X reaches its most powerful moment, not in what it shows, but in what it leaves behind. Because after the speed fades, after the lights dim, after the engine falls silent, what remains is a feeling that's impossible to ignore. A realization that something has changed, not just in this vehicle, but in the entire world of automotive luxury. For decades, the dream was always the same. Bigger engines, softer leather, more prestige, more exclusivity. The idea that true luxury had to come from a select few, brands that defined status, that controlled perception, that dictated what premium really meant. But the ZEEKR 9X doesn't ask for permission to enter that space. It takes its place, confidently, unapologetically, and in doing so, it challenges everything we thought we knew. Because this machine doesn't just compete with the best, it questions them. It forces a comparison that many never expected to happen. A comparison where performance meets affordability. Where cutting-edge technology meets everyday usability. Where futuristic design meets real-world practicality. And suddenly, the gap between aspirational and accessible begins to disappear. This is where the emotional weight truly hits. Because for the first time, a vehicle like this doesn't feel out of reach. It doesn't feel like a distant dream reserved for a select few. It feels attainable, real, within grasp, and that changes how people see the future. Imagine a world where ultra-luxury is no longer defined by price alone, but by experience. A world where innovation leads, not follows. Where technology enhances life instead of complicating it. That world isn't coming, it's already here, and it looks exactly like this. The ZEEKR 9X doesn't scream for attention, it earns it. Every detail, every feature, every moment behind the wheel builds toward a single conclusion. This is what the next generation of vehicles should feel like. Effortless power, seamless intelligence, unmatched comfort, and a presence that stays with you long after the journey ends. But beyond all the specs, beyond all the features, beyond everything we've explored, there's one final question that matters more than anything else. Not how fast it is. Not how far it can go. Not even how luxurious it feels. The real question is, would you choose it? Would you take this new vision of luxury over tradition? Over legacy? Over everything that has defined the segment for decades? Because that choice is where the future is decided. And every person who answers that question becomes part of something bigger. A shift, a movement, a new era. The 2026 ZEEKR 9X is not just a vehicle you watch. It's a vehicle you experience. It's a vehicle you remember. And most importantly, it's a vehicle that makes you rethink everything. So if this machine impressed you, if it made you question what's possible, then this is just the beginning. Because the future of cars is evolving faster than ever before. New innovations, new designs, new technologies that will continue to push boundaries even further. And you don't want to miss what comes next. So stay connected, stay curious, and be ready, because the next revolution is already on its way. Until then, one thing is certain. The standard has been raised. The expectations have changed, and the game will never be the same again.